I feel that the more you give, the more you receive. It's reciprocity, right? It's just a psychology principle. And so if you want people to reciprocate and give back, you have to give first. That's a good principle you can apply when you start engaging in communities.
Hi everyone, you're listening to Scaling Dev Tools. I'm joined today by my friend Flo Merian, who is one of the maintainers of Developer Marketing Community, which of course you should all be in. I'll put in the notes, and is also someone who's just done a ton of product hunt launches, works with loads of startups on product hunt launches. So I wanted to get Flo along today to share about how to launch on Product Hunt. Flo, thanks so much for joining.
Thank you very much for having me in the show, Jack. Really looking forward to this.
So the way I thought I could do this is I have not launched Scaling Dev Tools on Product Hunt. So I thought that I'll be a kind of live case study and ask you all the questions that I have, and hopefully those listening will find these useful as well. So first of all, what kind of stuff can we launch on Product Hunt? That's one of the questions I have, because I've kind of made Scaling Dev Tools into a website and there's some tools and stuff, but it was like primarily the podcast. So like, how do we think about what we could launch on Product Hunt?
That's a very good question. And to be upfront, no, you can't launch a podcast. You can't launch a book or just a list of tools on Product Hunt. That's the short answer. However, it's really the angle you give to with your example, Scaling Dev Tools. Scaling Dev Tools isn't just a podcast, it's also a collection of lessons learned from their first founders. And this is very valuable. And this is the kind of products that the Product Hunt community needs. And so that would be, if I were you, I would take that angle. You're not just a podcast. It's going beyond, right? So I think that's point number one, is to share the vision, the mission, so it really fits also with the Product Hunt community.
Okay, that makes sense. So I'll push it more like the website, tools like filters, be able to like find lessons from founders. So what kind of things do well on Product Hunt? Like how do I think about it doing well?
So again, very good question. Right now, what's really trendy, obviously, is everything artificial intelligence. Although you always have counter examples, and I think that's the story of Product Hunt. Most of the time, you read here and there the very different stories, successful ones, and also failures. I think that's one of the biggest lessons I learned hanging out on Product Hunt is that there is no secret sauce. So if you have a good product, no matter what's your topic, if you have an existing audience of engaged Product Hunt users, launching a Product Hunt would probably work anyway. So what's working ultimately? I'd say as far as you have a good product and as far as you have an engaged community, launching on Product Hunt could work.
So would you say most of the attention comes from your existing community for most launches?
At least that's the starting point, yes. So just to have a quick idea of how it works on Product Hunt, I consider it as a 24-hour marathon. So you have to make sure to maximize exposure during the first roughly 4 hours. And if you manage to get in the top 5 during those first 4 hours, there's a high chance that you'll get an organic growth in terms of number of upvotes and comments, because the way it works on Product Hunt is that most of the time people go to producthunt.com and will see those first 5 products of the day, and most of them will upvote, or if they attracted by the tagline, they will go and check the details and maybe post a comment. So yes, it's definitely the starting point, at least, is to have an audience that will give you the right kick you need in order to perform well on launch day.
Okay, and it launches it's like 8 a.m. Like GMT, right?
8 a.m. CET.
CET.
So
okay.
midnight PST.
Okay. So midnight PST in European time is like.
So yes, GMT. It's 8 a.m.
You kind of want to rely on Europeans and Asians and in because Americans are asleep, right? At that time.
Yes, that's
the
true.
First 4
it certainly gives an edge for European founders and also Indian and Asian founders, at least because during these first 4 hours, well, this is where European people and Asian people are the most active. So yes.
So we are relevant.
Absolutely,
we are relevant.
Absolutely, and that's also what's really exciting about launching a product on launch day. You know that you are doing your best to be in this top 5 until the American people, the American audience raise up, and that moment is key because then you can feel this organic growth.
Cool. And is there like anything that tends to get people to like is it just like, I guess this combination of just messaging every single person you know and asking them to like support you, right, on Product Hunt?
Please don't do that.
Oh, don't do that.
That's not my advice.
Okay.
I personally feel that you have some people and products that push their brands way too hard, and I think that it might damage your brand in the long term rather than the opposite. So I think the main objective really is to be helpful and intentional and thoughtful the way you approach your launch and promotion. So the objective isn't to message every single person directly on or worth outreaching to people on LinkedIn and Twitter. It's really about warming up your own audience. Just maybe you can share publicly what you're working on. You can share behind the scene images and fun facts, and that will help also make your audience ready for the launch day and really feel excited about your launch too. And if you manage to create this, there's a high chance you'll succeed on your launch day.
So what would be like kind of tangible examples of that?
So just to give you concrete examples, I had the opportunity to collaborate with the Documento team for the first product and launch, and the second one too. And so Documento is an open source DocuSign alternative. And when the team first launched, what they did was they hosted an MAA session on Product Hunt, so the week before the launch, and that was a starting point to start engaging first with the Product Hunt community, and also because they leveraged it on socials and especially on Twitter. That was the starting point to raising awareness for their audience. And so, I remember when they launched, it was on a Sunday. People, and me included, were like super excited about the launch and looking at how people react with that launch and so on. That was a fantastic feeling, and basically that's how you can start warming up your product launch.
What is like an AMA like? Because if I was like, oh, what, I don't know, like, what would people want to ask me? I don't know, like.
Yeah, it's really simple. You're Jack. You're hosting Scaling Dev Tools. You interviewed dozens of awesome founders of their first companies. Ask me anything. That's a great topic. I'm pretty sure that people will be curious enough to ask, well, literally anything.
Okay, and how is it free to do the AMA?
Absolutely, it's just being part of. It's just really part of the being part of the community. So there's even a section dedicated for this. So literally anyone can join the community for free and can submit discussions. And this, if you mix it with your engagement on socials like Twitter, this can work in a very fantastic way.
Okay, so maybe I should do like an AMA on the day that this episode comes out, and then please come and ask me something. I'll do it.
Well, so two things. The day you launch, you'll have dozens of comments, people who would be really supportive and also enthusiastic about your launch. So I would say, because you're a solopreneur, I would say that hosting an MAA session the day you launch might not be the best possible.
But could I do like an AMA on the day that this episode comes out, and then do like my launch like a week later?
These, or you can submit, you can start your MAA session and say, okay, this is me, Jack. I'll launch in a week and I will reply. Drop your questions here and I will reply to them on launch day, which is January, February, XYZ.
Why would I do that? Would it be like that it creates more buzz?
Yeah, maybe you just don't have the time to spend time on product hunt. You just start the discussion and feel it and reply to answer the questions the moment you feel the more at ease. So if you're not super active on product, and that's totally fine. You can just start this discussion, share it on Twitter, maybe share it on communities like the developer marketing community, and say, hey, I'm about to launch. I started this MAA session. If you guys have any question, join the discussion.
Okay.
And so that could be a tactic and also a way to raise awareness and to make sure that everyone save the date and mark their calendar so they can support you on launch day.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And then on the launch day, like, I see a lot of people post it like in Slack channels and stuff like that, and like Twitter, and people like, DM you and all that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. What other places are good to like promote your launch?
Again, that's a really good question. And honestly, my feeling, again, it's not to push your brand too hard, because that could really damage your brand. And obviously that's not something you want.
No.
There is one quote that I really enjoy. It's from Harry Dry from Marketing Examples.
Harry Dry, yeah. He's in London. Very nice guy.
He says that your launch day is the day your karma comes full circle. So basically, if you drop a link to your product launch on a community or place, it could be a Reddit, Slack, Discord, you name it, a place where you have little to no karma, you probably won't have any engagement from these actions. While if you're fully engaged and committed to other places, if you're highly engaged on Twitter, if your audience is in this developer marketing community, then it makes much more sense to really just focus on the channels, the places where you're already hanging out. That makes much more sense than, just stumbling upon places where you could share. At least that the experience I had when we launched. I had the opportunity to, when I worked at Specify, an API company. This is basically what we did. And the highest results we had was when we engaged with friends, with community. When we were engaged, we tried Reddit, although we weren't active Reddit users, and literally we had the best results was the people we regularly engaged. So that's why I feel that if you have an audience early, that really helps.
Yeah, that's actually, I think, a really good point that gets overlooked a lot of the time. Is like everyone sees like post, like share all your content and stuff, but it's like you need to. Yeah, I really like that quote. The karma comes back, and sometimes like it's like sometimes you undershare, and then sometimes like you kind of overshare and you don't give enough, and like it's that kind of, you want to do both, I guess. You want to share, you also want to give, and just be prolific, I guess, in giving and taking.
Certainly, it's true. That's what I see in our community. You have people that just connect and they log in just to post and promote their own stuff. I don't feel it works this way. I feel that the more you give, the more you receive. It's reciprocity, right? It's just a psychology principle. And so if you want people to reciprocate and give back, you have to give first. That's a good principle you can apply when you start engaging in communities. And if you want to have something from communities, you have to give first.
I don't want to say anything because I feel like we just need to let that point sit in. I'm internalizing that. How can I be more mindful about reciprocity and like giving before expecting that anyone would like, want to like read my stuff, want to like share my stuff? How can I give more? It is huge.
Maybe we can also, if we talk launch prep, there's also something that is very important. So because we're in this dev tool space, it's something that is quite specific, and obviously Product is a global place with people not just dev oriented. And so one point is that you really want to make sure that your tagline, especially the tagline and also the description, are quite easy to understand, to digest, are clickable enough, but not in a bullish way. And you really want to make it, I feel that when you work on the content and the copy for Product Hunt, so both the tagline and the description, one best practice to make it plain English, as simple, as straightforward as possible. I think that's one thing. And the other thing also is what's really important, and it happened to a community member very recently. Make sure to anticipate. You have to realize that the product and team reviews hundreds of products every day, and they have to select them. If you submit your product and plan it for the next day, there's a high chance you won't get featured. So make sure to really anticipate, maybe schedule it in advance So the product and team has the time to review it, to process it. And that's the best way to get featured, at 9:01 a.m. CET. So it happened to one of our community member. He prepped everything, scheduled the launch for the next day, and the next day he had to wait like 8 hours to get featured. And obviously, 8 hours later, well, he was
starting
all
at zero.
down the rank. Yeah, it was all down the ranking, and so that basically
killed it.
It lowered the efforts. I'm not an advocate of being highly connected and highly engaged with the product and community, but at least if you want to do a proper launch, do it well. So it makes making sure that you have a copy that sounds relevant for the broader audience, that and make sure also to anticipate your submission, and prep as much content as possible. So when you're on launch day, you can fully enjoy it. Because my perception, my experience with launch days is that it's a fantastic feeling. There's so much, adrenaline the launch, the day you launch, that you don't want to waste it trying to write a tweet or a LinkedIn post at the last minute. You want to prep this as soon as possible to fully enjoy the day. It's really important.
Yeah. I think that's an amazing tip. And I haven't heard that anywhere. And I've read quite a lot of like product hunt guides. So thank you, Flo. I actually have way more questions, but we just reached time. And I know you've got a hard stop. So thank you very much, Flo. That was really, really helpful. I think some people are going to have more questions for you. So I know that, where can they find you if they want to talk about this more?
So there are two main ways. Is probably reach out on Twitter. I have my direct messages open, and also obviously on LinkedIn.
That's F Merian, right?
Yes.
Merian.
Absolutely. And then if you're into the DevTool space, feel free to join also the developer marketing community, where I'm also quite active. And people can reach out anytime. I'm more than happy to talk all things product marketing, product and product marketing.
Amazing. And I know that you're potentially, at the time of this recording at least, open to opportunities. So if there's any really good dev tools, I think they should reach out to Flo as soon as they can before the opportunity is gone. So yeah, thank you very much, Flo. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll be back very soon.
Thank you.